So I mean, I think it's got enormous potential. Whether that potential is realised, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It depends on all sorts of things. It depends on our ability to break through the construction of politics according to where do you stand on the border, where do you stand in Irish history, sort of can you actually make us into... Political parties in the North are, I'm sure the same is true everywhere, but in the North are past masters and mistresses at actually relating to and expressing sympathetic concern about all sorts of issues while doing absolutely nothing about it. They all think that the climate is a hugely urgent matter. And they'll all tell you that where we must do blah blah blah, all this here, and we'll all have to change our lifestyles and all that there. And then the next thing is that we vote, but as far as the A5 is concerned, it's got nothing to do with that. Build the A5. Don't build an extension of the railway, sort of down through Derry into Donegal, sort of in the southern government won't build the western corridor to come up through Sligo and Bundoran and link up with it. I mean, this is a small, beautiful island. It should have a network of rail around it. There's no reason at all why we could rebuild instead of the A5, I'm sure this has been mentioned, the old GNR line, sort of down through Strabane, Omagh, sort of down into Monaghan and so forth. They've got a number of new trains which are brilliant actually, the new sort of trains, so modern engineering to do wonderful things. There is no reason in the world why you couldn't get on a train in Derry and be in Dublin in 2.5 hours and have a smooth, environmentally friendly, relaxed, or you won't end up frazzled at the end of it, that you would if you were driving, snarling at all the people in Dublin, sort of, as you try to get a parking space, and you do find one, you think it costs you €16 a day, or whatever it is it's going to be. You can save yourself all that. If there was a proper rail network, I said, who would travel any other way? Who would go from Derry to Cork by road, if there was a way of doing, particularly if you could do it down the west coast? Imagine that. Sort of down there to the west coast, and past Ben Bulben, and sort of down to past Connemara, and then on striking on down to Cork. And you can do it at 90 miles an hour without them damaging the environment at all. Sort of unreal. Sort of you can, it's the case for it, sort of in every way, sort of is absolutely compelling. And yet, under the political system that we have, it's nearly impossible to get that onto the immediate agenda. So the only way that's going to happen, is through grassroots activism. It's going to come from the bottom. So it's going to be an organic growth from the bottom, or it's not going to happen at all. Because it's not being cynical about it, you just have to look at the record of mainstream political leaders in Ireland, North and South, and elsewhere, to see that they are not going to they're not going to take seriously opposition to projects like the A5 until they're forced to. And by that I don't mean putting them up against the wall and holding their throats aloft. Everybody wants, as a private individual I can't stop you doing that. But what I mean, sir, that's what it is. But what I mean is actually mobilisation and whatever it takes. I mean, it was your end of this, as you said, was it, maybe we'll have to sit down in front of the bulldozers. And maybe we will. And maybe we will. And the thing is, you won't get people, this campaign sort of, this camp, and spreading word about it, may well be seen in a year's time as preparation for that. Sort of sensitising people to the issue, so that when it happens, there's nobody saying they're just a gang of crazies who are at this sort of, if you can get the solid local citizens, and we're all solid citizens, solid local citizens, sort of, and all the rest of it, sitting there, sort of maybe coming from different angles and doing that, then there's that. Not only is there a real chance of winning, in my view, it's the only chance of winning, and the only chance, therefore, of relating what is happening here and the immediate local concerns of people, of relating that to the vast global issues that confront us all. So while you're at this camp, on the way back, sort of, I listen to the news again, and I've no doubt at all, it's going to strike me, that's got to do with the climate camp, that's relevant to the climate camp, that's relevant. It all is. It's all the same struggle. It's all the same thing. So I think we must all rise up together. Leave it at that. Yeah. There are parts of it where it's 10 miles an hour, because, the thing is very, very dangerous. There's no passing loop between Corey and Derry, which means that if a train's going up, you can't have one coming down. Sort of which means that the timetabling can't be organised to meet the needs of people. Despite all that, there's more than 1 million people travelled on that line last year, more than on Belfast to Dublin. So, the market's there. There's no question about the market's there. Sort of in the morning, sort of from Coleraine on to Belfast, people are standing sort of on train. So the idea, there's no market for it, people are wedded to their cars and so on, it's just not true. I've sort of just talking about where it into the West come from. So that's where it came from, sort of from that little perception that there's a threat to the line and the need for it to continue, sort of as goes on. But there's a couple of people from into the West here. There's Goretti and Ross and a couple of others who come down today as well, sort of, and it's sort of linking those two things together is very important as well. So if you say no to the A5, you just can't say, well, just don't do it, or what's your alternative? And I actually believe, and I don't know if this is a venial sin, there are parts of the A5 which are terribly dangerous. And if they're going to be straightened back and all that there, sort of, and I've got no problem with that at all. Sort of buses and cars can't they, putting people in danger. The question is sort of, what is your perspective on it? What is your set of priorities with regard to different types of travel and the rest of it? And on that, no to the A5, yes to upgrading of the rail network makes absolute sense, and I believe it will be popular. It's not been put together by any of the major parties. That's a sort of very real choice. Not a revolutionary choice or anything like that. A very simple, practical choice. And with enough campaigning and so on, I believe we can have the right choice made.
Eamonn, where does our MP stand? I know that he doesn't sit in Westminster, which is where the paymasters are, but how does he view this? I know he lives in Donegal.
So how's that Pat Doherty?
I think that's who it is. I don't know. I imagine that. So
he's no to the road.
Indeed,
that's what he said.
Where does he sit? How does he view the proposals? I mean, has he spoken out on it?
He thinks this new proposed road is essential.
Yes. All the major parties. I mean, it's not all the four main parties is Stormont. You get sort of individual members against it, and indeed both Sinn Féin and DUP councillors speak against the road. But the actual position of all the parties in Stormont is that the A5 is necessary, that upgrading our road system and all that there is essential for the future, and they seem to think that something marvellous will be achieved if we can cut 10 minutes off the driving time, between Derry and Dublin.
It's part of another huge scheme. Ian Lumley can tell you about. It's not just this little bit of road. No. It's a lot more than that.
Yeah, if I can come in, this is a nationwide cross-border plot to accelerate us into further car dependence.